Welcome everybody to, or welcome everybody to another World of Ability podcast that's on the World of Ability Podcast Network. I guess just a little bit background here quick before we get started. This show and the network were started a couple of years ago by Kurt Ruskoff and Marcus Hart. Transforming Media in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And this show was officially launched on July 26, 2020, which was the 30th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. That was signed into law by President George H.W. Bush in 1990. Which is all exciting and good for what we are doing here with disability advocacy. I am Emily and one of the co-hosts today, and we have Sue Ruskoff on here, who's Kurt's lovely wife. Kurt isn't here today, but hopefully he'll be back either later in the show or for sure next week, since we are here every Saturday at 2 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock p.m. Central. So I guess we can get started. We have a few kind of, I don't know if I necessarily call them updates, but I guess things to have everybody be aware of. One of the things is that last night, the 26th annual Festivus in February event kicked off. Sue, do you want to give a little background or say anything about that, since you and Kurt got that started that many years ago? And yet you are on mute.
Thanks, Emily. Sorry. Hitting too many buttons on this end. I am not always able to be part of World of Ability, so today I get to tag team in and do this with you. The crew is out and about right now. I'll get into that and fill you guys in on what's all happening here shortly. Because let's see, back up a little bit. So my name is Sue Ruskoff. You guys are all familiar with Kurt, my husband, and he started this a while back, as Emily was talking about. And we are happy to bring out any topic that is all ability related here, right? So World of Ability. And one thing that has been in the works here for a long time, this is our 26th annual Festivus celebration going on this weekend. And what is Festivus? It's just an excuse to have some fun. So no matter your ability or your location or anything else, it's something that is just been an excuse to have a good time. A little bit of history on why this is happening and what it's all about. If you go way back to college days for Kurt, this is before I ever met him, when he was home for winter break back, I don't know. Now, this is one thing I would probably need clarification on. I think it was freshman year college. So I think it was his very first winter break when he came home. All of his football buddies got together and they ended up at Kurt's dad's place. And it was something where it was a couple of guys and then it turned into a bunch of guys and turned into his dad making pizzas for everyone and turned into a massive party that literally, it was, from every account I've heard of it, was epic. Went down in history as just the best blowout celebration, fun, you name it. They all had a good time and it became legend. With that, once that was something that after we got married, I don't even know when the conversation all started, but it was something where Kurt would often think back about how much fun that was, and just to be able to get together and we don't need an excuse to get together and have fun, do we? But you know what? We kind of do, because otherwise day after day just goes by and we all just do our thing. Needed an excuse. We said, you know what? We need to have some fun and create an excuse for people to get together and do something together. So we decided well, conversation, it kind of went down that whole trail of, if we're going to do this, when should we do this? That's where February ended up coming in, because we figured this was enough after the holidays, because everybody's got the big rush and of busyness and activity going on around Christmas and the New Year. And so Thanksgiving and rolls all into that, right? So you got the rolling of in November, December, early January. There's a lot of things going on. And really then, okay, we're in Wisconsin, right? So we're in the middle of winter. If you wait until things start thawing and people are getting out and about more after it starts warming up, well, that's still a few months down the road. So we finally kind of settled in on February. And we said, let's do the first weekend in February, just to make it easy for everybody to remember that it's always the first weekend in February that we have this get together. Now, how it became called Festivus, even that's a story in itself. So this originally kind of started out too with our college friends. And at that time, Seinfeld was a big deal, right? It was totally the thing that we all did. We enjoyed watching Seinfeld. We enjoyed those episodes. We needed a name, and we just kind of flippantly, as we're talking about what we should do, we're like, well, why don't we just call it Festivus? So for us, it became Festivus in February, because as the show itself had Festivus on December 23rd. Well, like we said, we weren't doing things that were competing with the holidays that everybody is already working with, right, and celebrating. It would make no sense for us to do something that close to Christmas, because nobody's going to come. There's too much going on. Or some might, but it just, our whole purpose was to have an excuse to do something another time. So that's what we did. We said first weekend in February. And early on, it was something that was only on like one day. It was a one-day event. Sometimes it was on Saturday. Sometimes we did on Friday night. It just, I think, I don't even know that I could go back and recreate all that anymore of how that exactly all ended up. But we discovered we had too many times where friends said, I'm sorry, I just couldn't get there that night. If you would have had it, on Friday, I could have come, or if it would have been Sunday. We're like, you know what? This is going to be a whole weekend event, because y'all can get here sometime over the weekend, right? So that's where it turned into an entire weekend event. So for many years now, I can't even tell you how many years. I don't know. I'd say out of the 26 years, it's probably like 18, 20 of the years, something like that, where it's been a full weekend. So we start on Friday evening and we go through Sunday night, and come and go as you please. It's been an open house style kind of thing. And now, thank goodness, with the invention of all this technology that we have now too, you don't even necessarily have to be here in person. You can Zoom in and join us this way too. And some of the traditions we've had over time include, actually, I should show you the back of my shirt. I'm actually wearing a shirt that a friend of ours made. So this is actually the Festivus logo that one of our wonderful friends created. And on the back of the shirt, there's, I don't even know how you'll see this, but there's all sorts of things on the back, including the feats of strength. Once upon a time, we used to rent those sumo suits and do, now that's hilarious. If you've never put on one of those sumo suits and actually went at it on the mat, it turns into, for the most part, you're bouncing into each other until somebody loses their balance. And then once you're down, you're like a turtle. You need help getting back up. Unless you're tall enough, you might be able, I'm not tall enough. I'd be stuck there until somebody would help me, because there was zero prayer of me actually resurfacing upright. But it was so much fun. We did that for several years. One thing that was always part of it early on as well was that we would have a real Christmas tree. So we would save our Christmas tree. And you can imagine, it was up all through December, and now it was outside all through January. We would literally prop it upright in our fire pit, light a match to it. That would go up in, oh gosh, I'd say less than 60 seconds. The whole thing is torched, done, massive flame, here and done. It was that became part of the tradition as well, was that we're going to go and light our tree on fire in the back. Part of what also has become a tradition with, well, I should say always, we've played lots of games. It's music and games, board games specifically, has been a massive piece of this. So we just would hang around the house and just play games and eat and eat and play games and eat. And it's just all about having fun. One thing that we ended up adding in was the scavenger hunt. This is why the house is quiet right now, because everybody just left for the hunt a few minutes ago. So what this is, it literally is well, here, I'll read the directions to you. So the 2023 scavenger hunt, rules of the hunt. Rule number 1, someone from your team needs to be in each photo. Rule number 2, only one submission per team for each photo number. There's 25 photo numbers on here, so there's 25 different topics. They get to turn in one thing. Number 3, the photo must be sent with the photo number to my Google Voice number. I've got that listed on here, and like keep sending them as you go, because my job here is, as those photos are coming in, I turn that all into a slideshow. Rule number 4, photo viewing and judging takes place in the evening. So we'll be back on our Zoom here this evening with hopefully a whole bunch of people to so that we can all be voting for the best picture in each category. Rule number 5, please be safe and have fun. So we used to even keep track of mileage and get a bonus point if you had the least number of miles that you did all this in. Once upon a time, we also had a section that were like bringing things back, like your more traditional scavenger hunt where you go out and find items. But this was actually the most fun, was just doing the pictures. So we would have, like I said, it have to be at least one person in your team in every picture, and every year it's a new list. This year, however, was kind of highlights from years past. We ended up picking a lot of the ones that we've done before, but haven't for a long time. And these were a little bit more general. I'll add another piece of the puzzle here. Okay, if it's Festivus weekend, it's always the first full weekend in February. Our daughter Alana, her birthday is this coming Monday, so February 6th. She was not due until March 22nd. She decided to show up the year she was born. She showed up just before noon on Friday of Festivus weekend, 6 weeks early. So that was a weird fundraising event going on in conjunction with this as well. So we had more things than usual going on, but we were in good shape. Things were looking really good. I was, 7.5 months pregnant at the time, but we had a team of people that were actually doing all sorts of different aspects. Kurt wasn't even home that night. So Thursday night to Friday, the guys were over at another friend's house because they were putting with this fundraising piece that we were doing. They were all over there finishing that stuff up. I was home by myself, just doing last minute things here, getting food ready, whatever. Long story short, it was probably about 6 a.m. that I ended up on the phone with my doctor because something going on here. Okay, long story short, my water broke. I got sent to Children's Hospital. We had Alana before lunchtime, and we're on the phone with everybody saying, hey, slight change of plans. Festivus went on, honestly, Festivus went on without me because I was at the hospital for the entire weekend. She was at the hospital for 3 weeks, and everything just happened because we have such a massively wonderful group of friends. Things still happened. So she is our Festivus miracle, because that's the whole thing itself. It's a Festivus miracle. Well, she became our Festivus miracle. I'm still convinced that she heard so much about what was going to be happening that she had to show up in time to participate that year. Even with the scavenger hunt, the team that Kurt was on actually came to the hospital and took several pictures with me at the hospital. And since she was in the NICU, Kurt and I went in and were able to get her into a couple pictures for it as well. So she is she would have been 1 day old, not even quite, and she was in some Festivus pictures. But anyway, scavenger hunt has a long fun history, and tonight we'll be going through all those pictures where like I said, it'll be a slideshow for each thing. Like here, topic number 6 says doing exactly what the sign says. So they need to find the sign somewhere and be doing what that sign says, whatever that might be, whatever they found. Another one's larger than life. This one says go big or go home, with the hairiest person you can find. They also need to have a team selfie, so all the members of their team have to be in that picture. by the coolest mailbox. So there are a few things that are kind of specific, but for the most part, we try to keep it general so that they can be as creative as possible because creativity and goofiness tend to make the best pictures. And if there's a specific picture within the topic that everybody is like absolutely busting a gut laughing at, that one's probably going to win. So that is kind of Festivus in a nutshell. It really is just an excuse to get together, blow off a lot of steam, have a good time, and that's what it is. And we're in the middle of it right now. This is like the only time the house has been quiet for the last, let's see, since we started last night. I think the dog is appreciating a little bit of quiet time as well because she's getting run ragged. She's actually laying next to me here and recouping a little while everybody's out and about. So this timing for World of Ability is perfect that I can actually be on here and doing this with everybody while the teams are out doing the hunt. And when this is done, actually, I'm fully intending to have whoever's still on Zoom with me to participate in some pictures, even locally here, or whoever's out wherever you are joining us on Zoom, that we can actually submit a few pictures for the hunt as well. But anyway, that's the nutshell version of it here. I want to welcome a friend to the show here that is a great friend through, actually through several different things, but we actually on a daily basis get to do something fun called the Shakedown. And I gotta say, I'm guilty of being late for it. It's the 12 o'clock Shakedown. It literally is 12 o'clock noon every day, including like Christmas, whatever. Every day at 12 o'clock noon, we do the Shakedown. I showed up at 12:05 today, so I had to beg forgiveness of the group. But I want to introduce a good friend. This Mark Laufenberg is somebody that we've known for actually quite a few years now. I should ask Mark to share a little bit more about how we all met, because that goes way back to like Madison SCI and all that. But actually, Mark, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here to join us today. You want to come on in and say hi and whatever you would like to share. Over to you, Mark.
Yeah, well, sorry I showed up a little late. The link Kurt sent me didn't work again. But
whoops.
But I just came back on here and that worked fine. So yeah, it was back in the days of the Madison Spinal Cord Injury Group, spinal cord injury and issues. There are people in the group that have MS and muscular dystrophy and, a couple of other afflictions, but we all share the same issues to deal with. And we, have speakers in, discuss about that. Lately, the group has just gone to more peer mentoring, and we sold our adaptive equipment to Accessibility Wisconsin. They are another group of the same nature, and they promote being outdoors and doing activities, and they have a better setup for the equipment. But I guess I met Kurt years ago in that, and Sue shortly after that. So that was where we first got to know each other.
If I remember correctly, weren't you president of the group at one point?
Yeah.
So you're very involved.
Well, yeah. Basically, Monica Kamal was the one who really held the group together. She worked tirelessly at it, and she gets a lot of credit for the success of it. But we did eventually become part of, well, it's called United Spinal now. It had a different name at the time, but we became members of United Spinal, the national organization, and that required having a board of directors and officers and such.
Awesome. Do you still do much with the group these days? I kind of lost touch personally.
Well, like I said, we don't have meetings through the winter at all. And a couple of key people have moved away. So we made the decision to sell the adaptive equipment and become more focused on peer mentoring, visiting people in the hospitals with new injuries or new to whatever issue they have going forward. So that's kind of our main role right now.
Excellent. And that's a amazingly valuable piece too, because I have the luxury of not having that experience myself, right? So I can only imagine when the issues are brand new and you're sitting here wondering, okay, now what? Where do I go? Where do I turn? What do I need to know? What do I need to learn? You're gonna be full of questions, and to navigate what that all means, to be able to have somebody that you can talk to and to learn from that's huge. No matter what it is that you're facing, to be able to have some guidance along the way, that's invaluable. Is that something that you do much with, or have you been active with all that, or?
Yeah, I've talked with a lot of people, some at the hospital, some over Skype. And well, part of the situation with that, in Wisconsin, there are only 2 groups involved with that. It is the Milwaukee group and the Madison group. So from mid to northern Wisconsin, there's nobody. I even talked with a guy from Michigan once, and Northern Illinois, they don't have a chapter either. So it covers kind of a wide range. And of course, for more serious injuries, the UW hospital in Madison is one of the main ones to treat spinal cord injuries. So, sometimes people from a little distance away end up being transferred to Madison. So when we find out about them, then, one of us tries to get in and visit them. But sometimes if they don't get transferred to Madison, and there's, several good hospitals in the center of the state too, that, when they receive these patients, they stay there, but they have no local group. So then sometimes we get a call and asked to talk with the person, and usually the nurses can arrange something through Skype.
The wonders of modern technology. Be
Yeah.
able to do that. That's huge. Oh, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that was unheard of. So the fact that can be an added thing for wherever a person might be, that could be an added benefit, that amazing, right? Oh, I love
Yeah,
it.
it's not cool that they don't have a local group like Madison and Milwaukee, but that I think every place should have a group, but at least the technology thing, at least it's something instead of without having a group too.
Mhm. Yeah, because
If it wasn't for if it wasn't for not having a group or the technology, then that's not doesn't seem like a very good situation.
I mean, it just makes me think. I have absolutely no concept for like what kind of numbers do you guys happen to know? How many people across like the state of Wisconsin have spinal cord injuries or have similar issues? Like I'm trying to get the word out of that would be looking for the peer mentoring like that. I actually have no concept of what the population statistics even are.
Well, I'm terrible at remembering numbers, so I probably did hear it at one time, but I know that in Dane County alone here, where Madison is located, there are over 2,000 people in wheelchairs. Now, that can be for various reasons, spinal cord injuries, MS, or there's a whole host of other things too, that people become wheelchair bound over. And I would imagine probably older age, the elderly are included in the group also.
Gotcha. Yeah, that reminds me of a phrase that a friend taught us. Like I consider myself a tab, temporarily able-bodied. So that's something where, you stick around long enough, you'll need some sort of assistance at some point, some way, somehow, because that's just how life works. So some sooner than others. That's just the way that works. And so we all have a different path that we go down. But super interesting. So now we get to see each other on a nearly daily basis because we have the 12 o'clock shakedown. How far back do you want to tell everybody a little bit about that? I think a lot have heard me describe what the 12 o'clock shakedown is. What do you want to actually, Emily, maybe you can chime in here a little bit too, because I think we've all been doing this for a long time. So actually, Emily, why don't you start and tell us what it is and what we all do? And I would love for Mark to share too. But Emily, let's start with you.
All right, so this was started by a gentleman here in Madison who has MS, and he was really active running marathons and so on before the pandemic. But when the pandemic hit, he really wasn't doing much of activity like he was doing before it hit, and he could tell that it was kind of really affecting him without having as much movement and whatever else like before. And with not really being able to like go out anywhere because of the pandemic, he kind of got this group of friends together, decided to start doing this. Well, I guess more so maybe initially, at least for himself, to do like 15 minutes of kind of movement to music, kind of like on a daily basis. And then some friends kind of got involved here. So that's how I started, and it really kind of seemed to, he could tell the difference between not doing anything and then when he was doing this. And it's 15 minutes of music and motion. So just like dancing or moving to any music you like. But however, this guy was mostly doing 80s music. And I don't know, like, was it 2 years later, 2.5 years later, we are still going. But just a few months ago, this guy's schedule kind of changed a little bit, and so Sue was sort of we kind of to kind of take over with leading it. And so that's kind of a little bit about it. Mark, do you have anything you want to add to that, or Sue or any either of you?
Well, I think you covered it pretty well. I know you and Kurt were on the group already when I joined. I don't remember. I think I heard about it through Jim Turk. And then he sent me a link, and I joined it that way.
Yeah, because I heard about it through Kurt. Kurt kind of, it took me a little bit to kind of actually start coming, but even though I knew about it, but just because, but I've been once I kind of got going, it's been fun. So Sue, do you have any? I'm sure you heard about it through Kurt, or
He was
Good,
my
you-
connecting point.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Kurt and Jim knew each other directly, or I know Autumn is a contact of all of ours as well, and I know she does a lot in the Madison area with different adaptive workout kind of programs, and so I'm not sure if she connected the dots. That'll be future episode. We'll have to touch back around with Kurt and find out how he knew.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he found it from Adam or Jim or how he found out about it, but
It could be Autumn that sent me the link too.
She's really good at connecting the dots with people.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of fun actually, and we keep it simple. I basically am following what Turk, the big cheese. I follow what the big cheese started out with here, where he keeps it's mostly arm motions. We do a little bit of legs, and it's fun stuff. And he's got all sorts of music that he was able to share. That we do this on Facebook Live as well, and Facebook doesn't like when people play copyrighted music, so he literally took hundreds of songs over the time span he was been doing this, that he sped them up just a little bit so that we could still use music we know. It's just a little faster, so that whatever the AI programming, however Facebook does that, where they can figure out that, hey, you're playing copyrighted stuff. We're doing this with the intention of just keeping it fun with music and motion. We do fun things like swimming in the air, and we'll do standing push-ups and barbell lifts and all this stuff, but it's called the shakedown because he was really good with having people grab something to shake. So you've got something in your hand that shakes. And my biggest thing I've been using when I'm at home is just a little Tupperware container with rice in it. Or when I'm at work doing this, I've got a couple of stuffed animals there, and I literally just am holding them and shaking them. And it's just a matter of having something in your hand, pretty much is the idea. Of course, sometimes I have nothing. I'll just shake my fists or whatever. You do what you can, and it's an excuse to get moving. And even I've found myself that there's times where sometimes I'll get migraines from tightness in my neck or a upper back issue, whatever. I have actually found it to be so helpful to just have that extra motion and getting my body moving at that time. There was one, I specifically remember a day where I was like, I don't know that I want to do this because I'm hurting right now. And by the time we were done, I could not have felt better, because whatever was the glitch in my back completely went away by doing that motion. And it's just going to be something different for everybody, but I am grateful for the time where I can just get up and move and get the body, get the blood flowing, and it's fun. We have a great group of people that join us on Zoom just like this. And then we also are doing a Facebook Live, so you don't have to be on the Zoom, but the door is open if people want to be. We're happy to share the link and grow our group that way. But it's also available on Facebook that you can go back and watch any of the lives that we've done, because almost every day we've had one on there. And you can just follow along, do what works for you. And it's all about doing what works for you, right? There's not a right and a wrong way to do it. The only thing again, I steal a Turk line of push yourself, but don't hurt yourself, because you don't want to do something too much and then regret it later. That's no fun. So it's all meant for fun, to get your body moving. And I've really enjoyed it, and I've made some great friends in the process. And we totally open it up. If people want to join in with us, let us know, and we'll be happy to include you. So,
Well, and one of the things that it's been several months now. I think Mark, you started about last summer or something. Where at the end, Mark has a background that has whoever's a few people's birthdays, celebrity birthdays, or any birthday, and then like another a holiday or whatever special day is that for that day. And that's been fun learning about both those things as well. They tell us about at the end.
Yeah, because Mark still has, you've got your background up from earlier today. You want to, for anybody who can't read what's all behind you there, can you want to share what today's fun things are?
Well, probably an important one is World Cancer Day. I guess to keep in mind the people we know who've been affected by that. Everybody knows someone who has. And also be thankful for the advancements in treating the disease. And well, it's Thank a Mail Carrier Day. If you see your postman or mail delivery person, give them a little salute or congratulate them. And a little appreciation is always a good thing. It's also National Hemp Day. Well, I guess you got to celebrate everything. So pretty all-inclusive categories. And in the food section today, it's National Homemade Soup Day. And it's also Eat Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. Well, if you think that sounds good, why not?
Today's your excuse, except we found out about it now. So some people might have to take rain checks and catch up tomorrow. We actually are, ironically, we happen to be celebrating National Homemade Soup ourselves. I did not know that was the thing today, but when people get back from the scavenger hunt, they're going to have potato soup that we made here. So we're ahead of the curve, totally by accident this time. And I love the Thank a Mail Carrier Day, because my cousin is one of my favorites, and she's full-time. She works for the post office, and love her dearly. And I will have to send her a note to make sure she knows how much. And she's not my mail carrier. I don't see her that much. She actually lives like 5 hours away from me, but she has good stories actually. That's an interesting job. I don't think I could do it, but she's amazing. And so I'm going to switch gears a little bit here, because we have other shows that we do as well. So I'll make sure people know, but I don't know how much that gets talked about on World of Ability, that we have lots of other things going on that you can tap into. Obviously, World of Ability, right here, right now, we're here on Saturdays at 2:00 Central. And another show that we do on a weekly basis is with River West Radio, which is a radio station out of Milwaukee. And we do a show called Ability MKE Now. So for those that don't know, MKE is the airport code for Milwaukee. So that's where it all came from, Ability MKE Now. And that is a live radio show that runs for 29 minutes on not Tuesday. Where am I coming up with Tuesday? It's on Wednesday evenings. We do it from 7:30 until 7:59 p.m. And if you miss a show, they do have replays available all the time as well. So if you ever go to riverwestradio.com, go to the shows tab, and lucky for us, they do it alphabetically. So Ability MKE now is the first show listed because, alphabet. And all of the past shows are listed on there. You can you can see a little synopsis of what the show is about, and you can click and listen anytime on demand. You can get in on all of those awesome shows that we've done there. We are up to show number, we've done about 100 and we're approaching 170 shows over the last 6.5 years. We used to do once a month, and when COVID hit, and we're doing things that rather than in studio, we're doing them from home on Zoom, just like this. And we switched it that it became a weekly show. And that's where, it's hard to believe we've had that many shows over the course of time. It's amazing to me. And actually, I'm going to pass this over to Emily, because I know with the World of Ability Network that there are other shows taking place as well. So I wonder if you can just share real quickly what the other shows are and when people can find them.
Yeah, so Sundays at 4:00 p.m. Central, we have the Blue Collar Crypto show with Tim Trojan. That is about like the tips, tricks, techniques, and so on with cryptocurrency. Mondays, we have Jaws Coffee Chat, which there is Jaws Diet, Jaws Mental Health, and Jaws Christ Talk, which are all about those different topics in regards to Jennifer A. Whitaker, and that's what JAW stands for. It's her initials. So it's her experience with those 3 areas. Then we have also on Monday evening, we have Monday Mission, which is all about veterans, the military and veterans, and put on by Project Diehard, which is a veteran-owned, veteran-run nonprofit out of Paducah, Kentucky. Then right after that, we have the World of Pets with Patty Ernest, and anything which is about anything revolving around pets and pet sitting and the like, all for free and non-free friends, like Minnie, who's with you right now, Sue.
Mhm.
And then on Tuesday evenings, we have World of Women with WOW podcast with Zeta, which is all about women and children and anything regarding women and children. And then, as Sue said, Wednesdays we have the Ability MK Now radio show. And Saturdays we have this one. And then a newer one that we've started up is another one with Jennifer's the Follow Your Dreams one, which is she's doing with another friend of hers. They have different things on music and different other things. I'm not totally sure everything that they're planning on doing. But then we have a few others that are kind of in the works. So if anybody is so we've helped Tim with the cryptocurrency, Zeta, Jennifer, Patty, we've all helped them start their own shows, so, and helping them with keeping it going. So if anybody is interested in starting their own show, even if it's just like a one-time, one-day kind of a thing, to please connect with us. And as always, everybody is welcome to join us at any one of the other shows as well.
And folks are always welcome to be guests on any of these as well. If you want to join in on what's already going on, like right now, we're here with World of Ability, and we love having guests on here and learning more about them and and whatever topic is top of mind, actually. So you know what, I'm going to pass this back to Mark and just see if you had anything specific that that you wanted to bring up. Otherwise, I'm actually thinking ahead to summer here. There's some sporty things coming up soon. But did you have anything else, Mark, that was top of mind for you?
Well, not really. I think, Emily covered all the shows pretty well. And well, I spoke on Madison SCI, so if you want to look forward to summer, that's fine with me.
All right, because one of our big things, which most people know about by now, is the adaptive water skiing that has been a big piece that kind of led us into actually into a lot of the things that we do these days. With the adaptive skiing, that opened a lot of doors, and in my mind, actually opened a lot of eyes, and all the things that have brought us to where we're here now doing World of Ability and all these ability related topics that, you know what, for most of us, the stuff just, unless you're dealing with whatever it might be, whatever different issues, whatever, we're all different, right? We've got different paths that we're walking down. Actually, I'm going to talk about another friend real quick. Chad Murphy Price is a real good friend of ours who is a wheelchair user, cerebral palsy. He's uses a power wheelchair, and he became a regular skier actually with us with the Pewaukee Lake Water Ski Club. And in order for him to ski, he's not going to stand up and ski. He uses what's called a sit ski. So that's something that we're already getting some things going here for this upcoming summer and setting up dates for having availability with using a sit ski and getting that time on the water. That, you know what, a lot of people have never heard of it and don't realize it's an option. So I always like to talk about it so that people realize that, hey, even if you can't stand up and ski, you can sit down and ski. There's options. There's ways to make it happen. And actually with that, I should ask, Mark, have you ever water skied? I don't know if you have or not.
One time, before I was in the wheelchair, I was visiting with a couple of people to, I believe it was Minnesota. And the person that we stayed with, he had a boat and water skis. So I tried it once. I almost made it up. But then a young girl that was on the boat, she slipped on the stairs and fell down the stairs and kind of injured her back. So we decided to go back to shore. And so that was the last time I actually tried it.
So now that begs the question, would you ever want to try? Because you've seen the sit skiing before, I think.
I have seen it once, yes.
So something to consider. Options are there, because if you ever want to go, we would go in a heartbeat. Because the main place that we've been going is actually down in Burlington. We've got friends down there, and we've got, I know he's working on officially making the dates known, but there's some background stuff he's got to do with getting permits and all that for whatever, and approvals. However, luckily I don't have to work on that part. We were talking about dates, and usually it's on Fridays. We end up picking 3 Fridays in the summertime where we can get out to Browns Lake. There's I believe it's a county park. It's called Fisher Park, and it's a great location. It's all set up so well because the Aqueduct ski team, that's their show site. So it's perfect. It's a really nice spot for us to be able to do the skiing from. And they've got bleachers there, so family and friends, whoever's out there can watch and cheer on whoever's on the water and have a nice place to sit while they're waiting for their turn. And it's a lot of fun. So I'll have to let you know what those dates are so you can consider if that would be something you want to do. Is, I'm good at twisting arms to do stuff that we find we ski all the time because we love it. So we like sharing it with everybody. Something to think about. But it's winter time, and there's actually a lot of people that enjoy adaptive downhill skiing as well. That's something I've not done. I've been at events, but I've not actually, unfortunately, I've not had the chance to participate like I would like to. So someday, that's on my wish list of getting more involved with that someday. Because actually, I'm one of those people that did not grow up water skiing. I grew up downhill skiing. So I'm way more used to, well, at least back then, up until my 20s, way more used to being on snow skis than on water skis. Because I think I only probably water skied maybe 5 times in my life before I met Kurt. And, he's this crazy character in the ski show thing. It's like, what's a ski show? I'd never heard of a ski show. I don't know what that is. What do you do? And used to go and watch all the time before. Actually, it was the kids in the club that twisted my arm and got me to actually join and try. And now good luck trying to get me to quit, because I love it. It's too much fun. But the thing is with that, I haven't snow skied hardly at all. I think it's totally flipped, where in the last decade, I don't know if I've even snow skied maybe, I don't think it's even as many as 5 times. It's been a lot. We just haven't made a point of getting out there as much as we used to. But I know there's lots of opportunities, especially in Southeast Wisconsin, for doing adaptive snow skiing as well. So now I got to ask that too. Have you ever been, actually, Emily, I don't know if you've ever downhill skied either. Have either of you done downhill skiing?
Well, I did before I was in the wheelchair. I used to downhill ski and occasionally cross country. Since I've been in the wheelchair, I'm very susceptible to the cold, the part of the body that regulates your temperature and helps you adjust to the temperature. That is broken in me.
Oh, geez.
I am always cold, and I had the chance. I guess I could have gone out to Durango. The Madison Kewaunee sponsor 4 people to go adaptive sit skiing in Durango, Colorado every year. I kind of avoided it because of the issue with the cold. Otherwise, yeah, I'm pretty sure I would have gone, although being a quadriplegic in my case, I would need to have a caregiver go along with me, which the Kiwanis Club does sponsor. If you have someone that's willing to travel with you and you're comfortable with them kind of helping you too to get out on the slope. But you do ski downhill with a guide on the back, and he helps you balance the ski to turn. And I'm not sure if anyone's allowed to try it on their own. I'm sure once they get much better at it, people do it. So yeah, it's an opportunity. Like I say, if it wasn't for the colder weather, I probably would have gone.
And I know in Southeast Wisconsin here, I'm just pulling up a website to see the details. There's a group called SEWASP, SEWASP. It stands for Southeastern Wisconsin Adaptive Ski Program. And I know they have, so SEWASP.org is the website. And I'm not quick enough to figure out the dates on here. So if anybody's interested in figuring out when and where they do their events, that is the group I believe that we did go and see. Gosh, that might have been 8 or 10 years ago. I haven't been out on the hill, and we actually didn't end up skiing. We were there to just observe and find out more about what the group was all about. And they have, I'm seeing here, CWASP Veterans for Programs. They've been on the news. There's a news link on here, but they've got links on here for participants, for volunteers, for donations, frequently asked questions. So there's opportunities locally here in Southeast Wisconsin. That's where it's actually amazing in this area, the number of different adaptive programs that there are that are sport related. There's a lot, and it's just a matter of looking around and finding them. So I know a group that does adaptive climbing, so like indoor rock climbing. We actually got to volunteer with them. That was several years ago. We used to go, I forget if they did it weekly or it's been a while now. That was a lot of fun because we don't have a background in climbing. Kurt definitely is not going to be climbing because, heights are not his thing. So he was the guy on the ground helping out from there. But it gave us a chance to participate, and, we get to go up the side of the wall a couple times while we're there, and it's a lot of fun. So we've had a lot of fun experiences that we probably wouldn't have had otherwise because of the volunteering that we've done in different places. So for as much as it's rewarding and fun to be a volunteer at different events like that, there's so much you get out of it. It's such a win-win having these different events taking place wherever they are and whatever the sport may be. So actually, I should ask Mark, are there any other sports that you've participated in since your accident, since you've with the adaptive nature of it all? Have you done other sports? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
Well, I've joined the adaptive fitness program in Madison I was with it for 8 or 9 years, I guess. And while I didn't do sit skiing and even the hand biking, because I can only use one arm, so I wasn't able to do that. And several other things they had there are pretty much standard size or even made for younger kids who have disabilities. And well, I'm 6'2", so a lot of the stuff didn't fit me. And so I guess I haven't been able to do a lot of adaptive sports. I have gone adaptive kayaking.
Ooh.
Well, it's kind of hard for me to propel a kayak alone, but we did have tandem kayaks, and they have outriggers on them for people who are disabled. So with the outriggers, I felt completely safe in the boat. And while I wasn't able to probably propel it that much myself, the person that was with me was an experienced kayaker. And, she was able to probably end up doing most of the work, but it was, not a problem for her at all. So I was able to participate in that. And yeah, it was nice. We had a perfect day. The weather was perfect that day, and we went up to Mirror Lake, which is a nice calm setting, no waves, hardly that day. And yeah, I was fortunate that I did get to do that. Also, I was injured at a later stage in life than most. I was 51 when I got my injury, so I was participating in sports before the injury. Well, I did play softball and do some golfing. It just kind of started with that. But those were things that I wasn't able to do as a quadriplegic. So I did look into a couple of other things. And, well, not that age is an excuse, but I guess I had done a lot of sports things in my life. Well, it wasn't quite the same. I know with adaptive bowling, they'd have to set a railing up and I could ball down, but I used to bowl too before that. And, well, got pretty good at it. It's not quite the same, but for just a fun outing, and like you say, getting people together, it is really a worthwhile event.
Nice. I don't think I knew what age you were when you had your injury, so I'm learning all sorts of stuff about you. So I know I see you all the time, but we're usually just, chit-chatting, and I haven't asked a lot of good questions. So I'm so glad you were able to come on here and join us today. I think we're actually running up against the end of our show time. I am so thankful that you were here, and Emily, as always, that you're running so much of the things here in the background. And we actually, like I said, scavenger hunt's still going on. So I might ask you guys to stick around after we end the show here, and we'll get some of our pictures ourselves from the list, and we'll be able to just do like screenshots or something here. We'll add a whole unique twist to what the hunt has been in the past. But with that, actually, Emily, do you want to do a little bit of a close up here with thanking our networks because we share this out to lots of places. So again, before I sign off though, Mark, you're a rock star and I so appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. And with that, I'm sorry.
Thank you for hosting.
Oh, absolutely. So, and I know I'll be seeing you tomorrow because, hey guys, remember 12 o'clock shakedown. We're here every day, 12 o'clock noon for the shakedown. So hopefully we'll have some more friends joining us for that as the time goes on. But Emily, I'm going to pass it back to you. So for this will be my sign off. Thank you everyone with World of Ability here. Emily, over to you.
I'd like to also thank Mark for coming on and for everybody who has tuned in. A few other people I'd like to kind of recognize and thank here are Marcus Hart of Transforming Media Network, Jay Stoyan of the Disability Channel, and Zach Clayton of the PAC Channel for allowing us to have for putting the show on their platforms. And would also like to encourage and invite everybody to check out all of our social media pages and subscribe, like, share, comment, and so on. The more people we can get the show out to, the better. The more the merrier. And we are here every Saturday at 2:00 p.m. Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. So would love everybody to join us if you're interested and schedule allows. Quickly, another event coming up next month is the International Day of Happiness on March 17th. Tickets are $40 right now, so if you're looking to attend, to get your tickets ASAP. And we are looking to set the Guinness Book of World Records for the most people with speed networking at one time, so it'd be cool to be a part of that. If anyone has any questions, comments, and so on, they can get a hold of me at podcastengineer54@gmail.com or Kurt at 262-372-1754 or abilitymke@gmail.com. So on behalf of me, Sue, Kurt, the rest of the World of Ability Podcast Network, we wish you a safe and productive week.